it with the Riverside people at NAB. Pretty freaking next level geniuses.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're
good.
They've basically
They're good.
added all of Descript to Riverside, by the way.
And this is all of our gossip now being recorded, which would be fun in the bloopers.
You got to have a little warm up chat.
And then, did you hear about? Oh my God!
No.
Oh, we're recording.
We're recording. Oh, hi.
Oh, hello, bosses. All right, here we go. Shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguza, and I am so excited today to have one of my favorite human beings on the planet here with me, and that is George the Tech, George Whittam. George, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, it's great to be here. It must be the East Coast vibes or something. You know, we're from the same sort of corner of the country.
I think so. Gosh, bosses, you know, if you are not familiar with George, you should be, number one. I'm so excited to talk to George today because we have come together in a collaborative effort, so to speak. And we're excited to kind of talk about that and talk about how you can boss up your tech and your audio in your studio and in your business. So for those people that don't know George, gosh, since 2005, George has dedicated, and in George's bio, it says that you've dedicated your career to serving the technical needs of voice actors, podcasters, and recording studio owners. Guys, actually, George has dedicated probably his life, not just his career. I mean, since I've been in voiceover, George has helped me umpteen billion times, and he has been the audio engineer, technician to the stars, to all of my voiceover heroes. And literally, if you've got a tech issue, George can solve it. And so I'm just excited that he's here to talk to us about things that we can do to boss up our studios and boss up our audio. And in 2017, you launched GeorgeTheTech.com, which expanded your business like a boss from just yourself to an entire team of people, which can assist anybody with training, studio design, audio processing, stacks, anything you can think about it. You're a 97 graduate from Virginia Tech, woohoo, East Coast, with a bachelor's degree in music and audio technology and a minor in communications. And, you know, that's pretty darn awesome because not only are you a geek, but you can talk to people about it.
I can communicate.
That's right. And gosh, if you haven't ever heard of, well, it was eWabs and then it was VOBs, the voiceover body shop, George and Dan Leonard for 13 years. Now, I've had a podcast for, gosh, going on 9 now, but 13 years, they ran their podcast and video, actually. What did we call it like back then? It was a podcast, but it was
podcast,
a vlog.
Live
stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was all of it.
But all of that amazing content is still on YouTube. And now you are the co-host and producer of the Pro Audio Suite, which is wherever your favorite podcasts are located, right next to VO Boss. So after that long-winded introduction, George, I am so glad to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be
Absolutely.
with us.
And believe it or don't, that was definitely the abridged version. There are very, very long-winded versions of that I've described on many podcasts. If you want to hear more about all of the background,
you've just done so much. I mean,
yeah, you're my people. Voice actors are my people. I love working with creative talent. And I have found that through a test that I took not so long ago that I'm exactly split left and right brain.
Oh my gosh, that's why we
center.
get along, I'm quite sure. Because I feel that I'm left and right brain too, 50-50. Yeah, creative and tech.
So there's this ability to balance those two worlds. And you know, we brand ourselves as performer-friendly techs because we feel we get actors and performers and that we're not here to talk directly to tech engineers. We have helped engineers solve problems, but that's not our main tribe. Our main tribe are creatives, actors, podcasters, well, creators, people that have to deal with technology to do what they do. And we just enjoy working with folks like that. You are our people.
Well, I like being your people. So, George, let's talk a little bit about your business right now, George the Tech, and what it is that you do, and what sorts of. I mean, obviously, you serve the voice acting community, but you also serve anybody that has an audio need or a tech need. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, George the Tech is framed around supporting voice actors, and now we've added into that tribe, or we've broadened the tent to now really include content creators and podcasters, because we've been dealing with more and more podcast specific studios. But how we do that is in many different ways, from one-on-one consulting time with me, which is really kind of like, I wouldn't say the first place to start because it's the most expensive to work with me one-on-one, but because it's going to be always the most expensive to work with the CEO. We have a tremendous number of services at much more friendly price points, down to the most popular and I would say best value bang for your buck service, which is called a sound check. And so sound checks are where we listen to the audio. Oh, really, me. I'm still hoarding all the sound checks.
You're hoarding all the sound checks?
I don't let
Yeah.
anybody else do the sound checks.
Oh, that's so
I
funny.
personally listen to every sample that comes in and I give notes. I'll look at your pictures of your studio. I'll even look at a video of how your room is set up. I want to see you at your microphone. I want a selfie of you at the mic so I know exactly what you're doing with your mic. And I evaluate all of that stuff with there we go. Selfies.
wait.
Need a selfie on the mic. It's
We're
really
selfieing
important.
on the mic. Mhm.
And I don't mean a selfie like cheesing at the camera like this. I mean, I want you to be on mic, and I want you to send me a picture of you at the mic in the position you read your scripts. It's so critical. And I'll look at all that. I'll listen to the audio, and I'll even listen to your processed audio if you do that in the production workflow as well. I'll take all of that and give back my notes about how you're doing and what could be improved. And if everything's great, I'll tell you everything's great, and all that under one price. So that is now something that our members that we're going to talk about are going to get access to, among many other things. So we provide sound checks, and then from there we have more technical services like processing presets. So when you're doing an audition and you want that audio to sound a little more polished, it's the perfect nail polish, it's the French tip, it's the just the right smoky eyes.
Now you're
all those
talking my
things.
language there,
right?
George. I love it. Oh my gosh.
It's having just the right touch of all those things
I
for
must
the
have
kind
it
of
now.
work. Yeah, it's having the right touch of all those things for the kind of work that you're doing. That's appropriate for the kind of work you're doing.
Sure.
I like to say you don't want to show up in theater makeup for your first date unless
Right.
you're dating another theater actor, but.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise it's you want to show up appropriate. And so these processing settings are very much custom to your voice. They're
love
not
that.
cookie cutter.
Right.
They're not templates. They become a template you can use, but they're based on your voice. And I listen and tune every single one of those templates to your voice, the sound of your room and your studio, and the style and genre of voiceover that you're actually working. So the kind of processing I'll do in an audiobook is going to be very different from the processing I'm going to do on a commercial. So that's what the processing presets are all about.
I love that. And I'm gonna add to your story here. So back in I'm gonna say 2010, maybe it was 2009. George. My father had built me a studio. I had, moved to the
yeah.
West Coast, and my father had built me a studio. And at the time, we didn't really know anything about, what was required in building a good sound studio. So we did what we could, and, it was passable, but I needed to upgrade, and I needed it to sound better. And so I found George, and George paid a visit to me back in Irvine, California, and really helped me to level up my studio with a lot of things. And I ended up, after your assessment, and we took your advice and we put everything together, literally, I had engineers that were like, oh my God, your studio sound is just amazing. And I had so many compliments on that studio, which basically was my father's studio, but then it was blessed by George and enhanced by George with all sorts of, it was
We
zhuzhed
zhuzhed it.
with you did the French tip. So it's like literally, we added acoustic panels. We added a bunch of things. I remember the studio, the clouds. And so all those things made my sound like so good that I, for years after that, would have people complimenting me, asking me if I had like a Studio Brick studio or, because
Some
this was
fancy
before.
brand name.
Yeah, this was actually before, those were even a thing. And not only did you help me with my physical studio, but you helped me with stacks. And I remember, God, I think I wrote you a testimonial back in the day. Like, you saved me like 50% of my editing time just by those stacks that you created for me, because I was able to take those and process my audio that I was sending to my clients, and literally half of my work was done for me already. Like a little bit of EQ, some compression, getting rid of some of the breaths. And, it's just, that was back in 2010. And so literally, George, I still have I have a new studio and I got one more set from you, but literally I used those for years. I was in the same studio, had the same mic, and honestly, they just worked amazingly well for years. And so they're very, very valuable, those sound checks and the stacks that you created, and any sort of help. And it amazed me, because even though you came to see me in Irvine, when I then moved and then created a new studio, you could do everything remotely. I mean, what you can do remotely is really is wonderful. Like, you can listen to somebody's audio and then you can make recommendations based on that. And you said, you want selfies of where's your mic, what does your studio look like? And so based upon all that, you can actually just, do consulting from remote. You don't have to actually be on site, although you could be if it was local, right? And I guess if the client wanted you to just come and do a full scale build of studios, I assume you do that.
Yeah, once in a while it happens. Yeah.
So I mean, I have firsthand have had George, for the longest time helping me with my audio, and also back in the day, and this goes into what we're going to be collaborating with. When I started VO Peeps, bosses, I don't know if you've heard of VO Peeps. Hopefully you have, but I've run VO Peeps since 2010. And 2010, I created an online networking group that essentially, it was a networking group that was physical. People came to my house. And
can you imagine?
Yeah, people came to my house
into your home?
for meetups. And ultimately, first it was just a bunch of voiceover, actors, and, it was a get together, and we kind of we either had a little potluck, and then it turned into something a little more extravagant where my husband would start, making food and kind of catered it for us. And ultimately it was, like-minded people getting together. And then I decided that I wanted to branch out and make it even bigger. And so I started inviting, all my heroes, all my VO heroes, and I would interview them in my living room. I would interview mine in the living room, and ultimately people would come to the house, and it would be a really cool local networking meetup.
Helping to figure out some of the tech and stuff to make that work. It was quite an adventure.
I started streaming back in, I want to say 2010 or 2010 for sure, when streaming technology was just beginning. And I had some experience working in technology from my previous job. And so I first started streaming those meetups live on the internet from my laptop computer on my coffee table with a blue Snowball microphone and a little, I think it was a Logitech webcam. But the cool thing is that I now went from a local meetup to a global meetup. And then as we grew, and I did these, once a month for almost 6 years. And as we grew, I said, who's the person that can help me to really make this stand out and have great audio and stream my networking meetups over the internet? Well, who better than George? So I hired George to come stream my meetups on the internet and take care of all the video recording and the audio. And it was great because you came with all your equipment and I had equipment. You would help set it up. And gosh, we had a good time, didn't we? We did. We did.
Those such great memories.
They grew and grew. And so that's pretty much my VO Peeps. I have lots of great memories of it being at, physically in my house. And I think in 2016 or 2017 was when finally, once a month, it became a lot because they grew. I had up to 55 people in my home that, my husband was making themed meals.
It was packed. It was sold out all the
Themed
time.
drinks. We started selling tickets to it, and gosh, we would definitely stream it live. We would have Zoom. We would have people working out via Zoom. And so we would actually have them piped in. We have them with the Zoom piped into my TV.
It was sophisticated.
It really was back in the day.
I mean, it was the closest to like having hybrid training where you've got people in the room and you've got people online all at the same time.
Yeah.
It was very, very ahead of its time.
People from all across the globe. And so George was that tech geek that was there to like put it together and help me, and I'd be like, I want to do this, and George would be like, okay, we can do this. And so if you guys need outside of just audio, I mean, George, the tech, right? Any kind of tech. And I know, bosses, as we grow our businesses, I mean, this is all about technology. It's not just about your audio, but it's about, it's about being able to deliver that audio, effectively and safely and pristine to your clients or your potential clients.
Down to simple, basic stuff like, when do I upgrade?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
one of my most common questions.
Right?
My computer keeps reminding me about a new OS. Should I click on it?
Exactly.
Those are the kind of questions I try to help navigate so that you don't send yourself into what I call the upgrade death spiral.
And that's a huge thing because, George, actually, I've been waiting to upgrade, right? And it's always been a thing because I have a particular, audio interface. I have the Apollo, and of course, it's
very persnickety.
It's
It doesn't
persnickety
like,
with Mac OS.
upgrades.
So if you guys are looking for, support, and so now I want to get to the good stuff because we have actually evolved, VO bosses. We have evolved that I have merged VO Peeps into VO Boss. So VO Boss has been a podcast for over 8 years, and VO Peeps was always my kind of networking group, my local networking group, and my workouts, which have, since become online only, but I still do them every month. And I thought, wow, I just want to combine these two brands into the VO Boss brand so that it can evolve and offer even more amazing things. So I think in the next month or so, I'm actually going to be taking down the VO Peeps website, which is, I mean, it's my heart. I mean, my peeps are my heart, but I have merged them into a membership into VO Boss. So those of you that know VO Peeps and have ever joined a VO Peeps meetup, well, now you can join those same meetups here over on VO Boss. So I still have the same great, even better guests, I'm going to say, on VO Boss. We have the events. We have the membership too, which is pretty amazing if you ask me. So you can actually become a VO Boss VIP member. And same as we had with VO Peeps, you can have a monthly membership, and we've actually reduced the price a little bit. And you're going to still get the same great benefits, plus you have the opportunity to get even more benefits, which we're going to talk about with George. But you can still have the same basic VIP monthly, which will get you a 15% event discount on all events. That's on any of the live monthly events. You're going to be able to get feedback from agents, casting directors, and more. And you'll be able to access the video workout library, which has literally over 250 hours of archived workouts with these guest directors that names like... I'm going to say names like Andy Roth. I'm just looking to see Ellen Dubin, Terry Berland, Rick Wasserman, Marilyn Wisner. So, I mean, we have all the important people. Pat Brady, Fred Melamed, Scott Parkin, Randall Ryan, Kim Herdon. I mean, it's incredible the amount of educational material that we have as part of our video archives. So if you join the monthly, it is $20 a month, and there's no obligation. You can join for a month, and if you decide it's not for you, you can just not be a member. But I don't know why that. I don't know why you'd ever want to quit because of the value. But $20 a month, or even better deal is you can join a yearly VIP membership for $216, and that will give you and it also gives you a month free. That'll give you 15% discount on all events. You'll get the feedback from agents, casting directors, and more. You'll have access to that video workout library over 250 hours. And by the way, that library gets refreshed every month. So as I continue to have guest directors, there's going to be new material in that video archive. And now we decided, because I am just so enamored with George the Tech and his services, and I think that every boss needs to have a well-rounded business, right?
And because you are such a boss.
We have actually added 2 more tiers of membership that include George the Tech. And I'll just give the basics, and then I'm going to have George explain exactly what's involved in that. So we had a VIP monthly that's $20 every month. Again, no obligation. We have a VIP yearly. You get a month free for $216. And then we have a VIP Plus Tech for 6 months. And that is $270 every 6 months. And that's going to give you all the stuff that you get, the 15% discount on VO Boss events. You're going to get the ability to go to the live agents, casting directors, and more. You'll have access to the video workout library, and you'll get features from George the Tech. And then we also have a VIP Plus Tech that is yearly. So if you want to just dip your toe in and try it out, with George, it's the 6 month for $270, which you can renew, of course, after 6 months, or you can join for a year for $480. And so now, George, I'm going to have you explain what is actually in the package for the VIP Plus Tech for 6 months. What do they get in addition to the 15% discount on the events, the video workout library? They're going to get access with you.
Yeah. So what we're going to add in to sweeten the deal and make this a much more comprehensive service that includes all the tech stuff as well that can help out you with your studio. The first thing we're going to add is a monthly tech meetup that's just with me. So anybody who's a member at that level can join that tech Anybody who's a member at that level can join those monthly tech meetups. They're going to be at this time the 4th Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. That's subject to change, but that's where they are scheduled for now. And you'll be able to come in and ask anything you need to know about your studio situation or your issues, or should I upgrade? I keep getting these upgrade messages. What microphone should I go to next? Or what should I start with? Is it time to buy a booth? All these questions that are going to be buzzing around your head as you think about what it is to be a professional voice actor. You'll have access to that every month. And from my experience, from my experience, there's only a very few people that really take advantage of them and show up. So those that do show up will typically get a fair amount of attention. And it's far, far less expensive than working with me one-on-one. So it's
I was
really
going to
effective.
say, George, what does it cost to work one-on-one with you?
Well, as of now, my hourly rate to work with me is $360 an hour. So you're going to get access to, basically for the price of almost a year membership.
Right.
That's about an hour of one-on-one with me. So those that do that level of support with me, they typically are professionals.
Right?
Yes.
Once a month. So it's 6 hours of audio tech with George, asking him any questions that you want. If you're like, I've got a problem, my microphone is making this weird noise, like what could it be? I mean, just direct access to George for once a month for 6 months. That's 6 hours with George. Like multiply that by, what was it? 300, what was it?
360 an hour. Yeah.
360 an hour. Okay. I don't have a calculator and I'm not, but anyways, that's a lot of money. I mean, guys. And so literally that VIP for 6 months, $270. And that's for George plus the 15% discount on VO Boss events and access to the video workout library. And I don't want to sound like a used car salesman, but oh my God, it's not just the monthly Zoom sound support. There's also what?
Yeah, well, I mean, also during those times, you're learning from each other too.
Right.
So you're gonna pick up a lot of stuff because of the other questions people are asking as well. So not only that, you're going to get access to sound checks, and sound checks are,
what are
as
sound
I was
checks?
saying earlier, really valuable ways to get my feedback directly about how you are sounding in your studio. And so those are extremely important. And
That's
you know
like what I was talking about earlier. That's
Yeah,
like,
and
here, submit your audio, and George will evaluate that and say, ooh.
that's right. It's so important. I mean, the most annoying, and I would dare say the dumbest way to lose an audition is because your sound wasn't
Oh
right.
my gosh, yes. Yeah.
It's
that is
because it's a
so
technical
important.
thing.
It is. It is. And you know, that's so funny because with the VO Boss Audition Demolition guys, we I've had those every other
You've heard
month
a lot.
last year. And so whenever we were doing the short list, the first thing we would listen to was sound. And if the sound was not there, they did not make the short list. And so sound is so critical these days. I mean, ever since, well, it always has been critical, but I think even more so since the pandemic, you have to have pristine sound. And so those sound checks are invaluable. And I cannot tell you the amount of students that I have referred to George that are just getting started in the industry. And they're like, what microphone should I get? They'll submit audio to me and I'll be like, it sounds a little echoey there. And so they're like, well, what do I do? And I'm like, well, you really need to have an audio engineer listen to that. And I basically will recommend that, get on the phone with George. And like you said, like a consult with George is $360 for just an hour. You guys are going to be able to get that plus the sound check, which is crazy. And what else? What else, George? What else will they get? Tell them what else, George.
Thanks to modern technology, machine learning, and large language models, and all those fun buzzwords around AI, I was able to build an AI version of me. And what does that mean? Well, I mean, everybody knows what ChatGPT is. Well, think of a ChatGPT that only is educated about what I'm educated on. And why is that a good thing, right? Why would I want only George and versus whatever's on the internet? Well, the reason it's so useful is because the content you're going to get from that is directly related to your world of voiceover acting. So you're not going to get a lot of recommendations for gear, microphones, and other suggestions that fall way outside of the specifics that are related to what you do. So the knowledge base is very much specific to what you are doing. So you're not going to get the wrong advice from the system.
George. It's like George the robot. George the tech. George the robot.
George the tech bot.
George the tech bot.
And to create that, it's basically me scraping together using all sorts of online tech, years and years of knowledge that I've been putting out to the world through YouTube, through podcasts, through Facebook groups, through forums and everything, bringing all that information into one place that's searchable and getting very useful action item data. So it's fun. I even have fun using it. In fact, you guys can see it work right now on screen. It's so cool. We even have a few seed questions that will help you get started right there on the screen. So if you don't even know what to ask, you can say, oh, I like this question. What makes a good voiceover booth? You can click on that, and then it will immediately fill in the text for you and give you back all of these useful output information with things to do next,
And that's instant access to George's knowledge base, right? 24/7 instant access to George. And George, dare I ask, you do have like tech support that is emergency tech support, right?
We do.
So I can't imagine, what does that cost?
If you have an incident worthy of that kind of emergency support, you're going to reach our emergency support hotline, and you're going to reach only the people that are directly related to. We have a team that's dedicated to that sort of on-demand tech support, right? And so you're going to reach them, and that's $250 per incident for the first 30 minutes. And it's an amazing service for those who need possibly going to lose a gig that could cost them far more than that cost. So,
but before that, guys,
that's unique,
right? You've got George the bot, George the tech bot,
George the bot,
George the tech bot. And
I like that, George the tech bot.
And if George the tech bot can't answer it, guess what? You've got that monthly hour with George, right?
Save that question for
the
that next session, and we'll talk about it together.
And by the way, guys, it's very possible that we will sprinkle in some of those sessions into the archive of videos for VIP members so that they can get an idea, if they aren't a part of the VIP Plus Tech, that they can get an idea of the type of service and support that they can get. And so I think it is so important, guys, bosses out there, that not only do you have performance support, do you have business support, right? VO Boss was originally intended for, it's business, right? I was all about the business of voiceover. And then we kind of merged into more performance, which is now we've got events that are, a lot of them are performance, right? We've got performance based. So I've got the business of voiceover in VO Boss podcast. We've got the performance with the events, right, in VO Boss. And now we've got that other component, which is the audio component, the tech component, which is insane, guys. Like, I don't know what else you need. And guys, this even, like, if you need to ask George a computer question about, like, look, do you have a favorite piece of software that you use to, rename files, or
how do I get rid of mouth noise?
Exactly. It just whatever it might be, it can be a question for George. And so that remembers the 6 months that we just talked about, which was the $270 for 6 months. I mean, my gosh, it's a steal. And then if you want that same service that George just talked about, you get the 15% discount on the events that I talked about earlier. You get access to the video workout library, which gets refreshed each month. You're going to get that George the Tech support chat access. You're going to get the monthly Zoom sound support, and you're going to be able to submit one audio sound check per month. And also, George, you forgot about the starter gear recommendations.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I did forget about that.
So that's the other thing you're going to get. But if you join the yearly, which is $480 for the year, I mean, that's insane. $480. I'm trying to think, what could you buy for $480? Like if you went to Starbucks every day.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a Starbucks every day might be more expensive than that. So, I mean, in reality,
it is now.
That's incredible. So talk a little bit about the, what was that last thing that I just said? That was the starter gear recommendations.
Yeah, we will have a database there where you can look through and look at setups that we consider to be the best places to start. So it'll take out a lot of the guesswork for you. And it's not going to be comprehensive, every option available, because the problem is analysis. What do they call it? Paralysis?
Yes, analysis
yes.
paralysis. Yeah.
We want to avoid that for you. And I have worked with, heard, used, or trained people on just about everything out there. And if it's not recommended to you, it doesn't mean it's not good, but these are things that I have vetted personally to be great ways to success, to getting great sound in your home studio without a lot of pain and at price points that make sense for you, right? So it really does come down to making sure we hit budgets that are sensible for you, because everybody's at a different place with their budget too. And don't worry, you don't have to spend thousands to get a good sounding home studio setup, believe it or not. We'll make sure that you can see that through that service.
Wow. George, this is incredible. I'm so excited to be offering this new level of service with you for VO Boss. Bosses out there, remember, you have lots of options. You can check out all of the information at voboss.com. We have a monthly option at $20 per month, gives you that 15% event discount, the feedback from agents, casting directors, and more, access to the video workout library. You've got VIP yearly for $216 every year. Your first month is free, by the way. Same thing for the year. And then the VIP Plus Tech for 6 months for $270 every 6 months. You're going to get all of the things that I just talked about, including George the Tech Bot. You're going to get the monthly sound support, Zoom with George. You're going to be able to submit your audio for sound checks, one every month, and you'll get your starter gear recommendations. And you've got that for the 6 months or $480 for the year. So incredible deals, guys. I mean, and these are all like, there's no obligation. So if you join for a year and then you decide you don't need it the following year, you can cancel that. So cancel at any time, and that is all done on the website. So you can find out more again at voboss.com, and then just take a look at the join, become a VIP, and you'll see all of the information there. George, it has been so wonderful having you. I'm so excited about this.
I love this new partnership. I've always admired you and what you do, your intelligence, your charm, and your ability to do the left brain, right brain balance, which I
Right.
I very much feel I have that kind
Yeah.
of that special
Yeah.
skill, and I see that in you too. So I'm so glad to be working with you and being ready for supporting your people.
I am so excited. Guys, bosses, check it out. George, thank you so much for being here with me today. And I'm sure we'll be talking much more in the future. All right. A big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can connect and network like a boss. IPDTL.com. You bosses have an amazing week. Don't forget to check out that VIP membership, and we will see you next week. Bye.